Hello, welcome to the 19th day of November 2025. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation, a live video exercise which I do each and every morning just around 5:30 a.m. to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone, which you can read for free at goingalone.org. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with the various challenges and opportunities that seemed noteworthy, where I either did well or poorly, where I can learn from both. This is a private public journal, so I'll be talking about my own personal life in a public setting. I do so because doing it publicly helps me to do a better job. I also welcome your criticisms and comments to help me to see things more clearly. So leave those if you like. I'll read them when I get to the end. I do talk about death every day and sometimes talk about other subjects that might be sensitive, so be warned. I do want to extend a huge thank you to my subscribers and members over on YouTube and my supporters on Patreon. Thank you so much for your support. With that, let's get started. Looking at the last 24 hours, I have two big things that are going on in the larger circumstance of life. The titles for those are The Situation, namely this big life situation that's happening back in home in the United States that might require me to go back, and the Project 2026, which has nothing to do with politics, just a poorly titled name referring to my efforts to get to bridge my life, my retired life, over to the summer 2026 when my wife and I will um, begin receiving not only Social Security for United States and in my wife's case, Social Security in Japan. So she gets both of those. So we need to get there, and so we have a project to get there due to a little bit of short-sighted planning on my part. All right, so with regard to both of those, I have one big event that I mentioned about yesterday, the deposit of the last bit of 401k that I wish to consume to get us there. And I had a bit of a challenge with the that 401k distribution that we would need getting to me, given that I'm living overseas. And again, a more short-sightedness, I had failed to set up. Uh, well, I couldn't really do it. I've done it at the time. Well, I couldn't. I simply couldn't do it that I don't have a U.S. phone number anymore. Um, it made it a little tricky. I know there's ways that I could have done it. It's more short-sightedness. Anyway, it required a roundabout effort where that check for that last distribution that couldn't be direct deposited into my bank account in the United States had to make its way to me here in Japan, where I received it finally the day before yesterday, and got it on its way to the bank yesterday. So it should arrive within 10 days, and that'll be the bridge again uh, uh, to 2026 to the security of the distributions of Social Security in addition to pension, which will be the basically that'll put us into our final configuration for long-term retirement. So that is a couple of things. That also helps with the situation as well, because it's one less thing for me to be worried about. I was a little concerned that if I get called back to the United States while I'm engaging on addressing Project 2026 from here, I would need to re-architect the solution mechanism. But I think I'm past that. No, it won't be done until that check gets deposited. So holding my breath just a few more weeks until that happens, hopefully within 10 days. Good news on both of those fronts. So I did have an easier day today. I didn't have to think yesterday. I didn't have to think about those things as much, uh, and it was a little more relaxing. And it was a good day. So I yesterday, and this is I don't need to cover the details. That's not what this is about. But I did spend a good deal of time. I did my normal thing, walking the dogs and enjoying meals with my wife. But I also spent a good deal of time in the garden and a really nice long walk with Rudy in his stroller. It's good. That's all I need to say for yesterday. It was a good day. Hmm. As for my creed, it consists of 8 objectives and 35 principles. The 8 objectives are: number one, to be at all times ready for death, having affairs, relationships, and life's work in order. Two, to make good and effective use of my time so I don't waste my life or days not attending to things that are important. And having the recent new habit of signing off with a reminder that tonight I will die in my sleep has been very helpful in that capacity throughout the day. As I do various activities, I find myself asking and rarefying the air around me, asking, is this how I really want to spend my last day on earth? It's a very powerful thing. Three, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, precisely those outlined in my book. Four, to cultivate good emotional reactions, so I'm responding well when things are tricky. Five, to perform good actions relative to my values. Six, to recognize my true limits and true opportunities. Seven, to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. And eight, to maintain my balance, which is a consequence of attendance to the first seven objectives. Today I'm going to read principle number three, which I believe is the homunculus. Let's look. That's right, the homunculus, which is a funny word to describe a little man that lives inside, whether that be a fictitious idea of kind of like a consciousness, which is how I mean it, or whether it be something like from the movie Men in Black, where there's a little alien living inside a robot. But in this case, I'm referring to the little consciousness that seems to reside inside our head, just behind our foreheads. The homunculus. This is the small. Oh boy, it's so hard to read. It's so dark. This is the small. Oh boy, I can't read it. I know. Oh, there you go. Homunculus. This is the small, mute, and hidden man within my head, the imaginary mortal who seemingly pulls my levers and strings and hints at my opinions and judgments, and who must die utterly upon the failure and dissolution of my person. The homunculus is as imaginary as a soul, though a much better vehicle to remind myself that consciousness is nothing more than another organ of my body serving a particular function and is subject to corruption and death in the end as my spleen, liver, or any other bodily organ. I determined that I came up with the idea of the principle of the homunculus and applied it to my person, and that we all, each of us, have our own homunculus. Though it resembles the idea of a soul in a way, it's a little bit different. It's a reminder that there is no soul. In fact, it's the exact opposite of a soul. The homunculus is a reminder that that which is me is trapped within my cranium, that it won't escape my death, that there is nothing that will ever outlast me or continue beyond my passing. So the homunculus is you could call it the anti-soul, if you like. Can't believe it's been 8 years and I haven't thought to call it the anti soul before. That's exactly what I meant when I came up with the idea. Okay, so the next 24 hours, I have a strange and intriguing meeting coming up in about an hour and a half. My past as an IT project manager in California has come back, and I've been invited to attend a meeting at 7 a.m. this morning to go over with an organization in the United States that works with homeless people to review their AI solution for their organization to provide some feedback and information. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'll be doing that at 7, after which I'll be free to enjoy the day, really enjoy the day. And I might take off with Rudy. We might have a more ambitious day together, although I do need to go shirt shopping. Maybe I can get my wife to, maybe I can convince her to go shopping for shirts for me today. That would be a better use of time. All right, let's read comments. Hello, Ray. Good morning to you. 9 degrees Celsius and 74% humidity in Washington State. I can't even read it. It's so dark outside. I can't even read what the temperature is outside. Hello, Tim. Good morning. Weather check for the UK at 9:34 p.m. is 5.2 degrees Celsius and 92% humidity. A Jack Frost morning, sunny spell sunny spells day. Tim, you've got a bit of poetry to your weather forecast, Tim. It's interesting to hear how each person does it a little bit differently. Evelyn, hi, Evelyn. Evelyn says hello to myself, Ray, and Tim. Tim says hi to Evelyn and Ray. Michael Littlejohn, hello, Michael, says hi. Robert, hello, Robert, says hi to myself, Ray, Tim, Evelyn. Uh, 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 48% humidity with an air quality index of 21 in Napanee, Ontario, Canada. So exactly the same. Robert says hello to Michael. Tim says hi to Robert. Evelyn says, here in Bologna at 9:39 p.m., it's 6 degrees Celsius and 77% humidity. And Evelyn says hi to Robert and Michael. Very nice. Guys, I want to just extend a heartfelt, um, what do you say, condolences to Heather, who joins us sometimes here in the past, um, and is also a great supporter of my store on YouTube. One of my best customers over there when I had the business going, and who I don't think she'll mind me saying this because she joined me in my office hours earlier this week and in a public setting, communicated to everybody. But I just wanted to, Heather, if you see this, because I haven't seen you in office hours and since then, Heather lost her husband and this last week, all of a sudden, and very what would seem to be a very I'm a little lost at words. It's hard to talk about such a subject. Um, Untimely, you know, but the philosopher in me wants to say, when is it ever untimely, right? I mean, the death can come at any time, but I don't need to be that guy right now. Kurt, shut up. Just say what's in your heart, Kurt, which is basically, Heather, my thoughts are with you, even though I haven't seen you in Discord since then. Um, I've been thinking about you regularly and your circumstance, and you you're on my mind. And I just wanted to let you know that if you see this, um, condolences, Heather. My sincere condolences. If you have a chance to drop by again in the Discord office hours, I'd love the chance to talk again. All right. All right. So I think I'm going to sign off for now. Thank you, Tim, offering your condolences to Heather as well. I'm going to sign off for now and compose myself ahead of my meeting to talk about AI with this. I believe it's a nonprofit in the United States that's working with AI. That's, again, the kind of thing that I'm really keen on making the world a better place, right? If I can help an organization that's trying to help the most vulnerable among us, the homeless community, with helping to embrace AI and figure out ways to use it effectively, then that's a very, very good use of time. And Robert also says, Heather, I offer my condolences. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. I'm confident that we all feel that way and send our condolences to Heather. Evelyn says, my heart is breaking for Heather and her family. Thank you, Evelyn. I appreciate that. And I'm hesitating a little bit because I know there are actually two Heathers that we've seen here, and it's probably that have joined us here. And I don't know in the past that Heather has actually joined this group before. I know Heather very well from my eBay store, uh, uh, or AKA my YouTube store. But I just want to make sure that as I'm communicating here, that if the people here understand which Heather it is. I won't say her last name, but there's let me just say there's two Heathers that sometimes whose orbits sometimes intersect with the orbits of the things that I do. Um, and let's just say it's one of those two Heathers. I don't want to say her last name because maybe even though I think she's public about it, I don't think she's a very private person. She's like me. She's kind of like, a very open person, but I don't want to take any liberties that are overstep any lines. Just to say one of the two Heathers in our world has experienced this. And again, Heather, I'm kind of, you know, I feel a lot for you. Okay, wish everybody all the best. All be safe, everybody. It sounds cavalier to say I will die in my sleep tonight, but we need to carry on with our endeavors of good living. Death isn't isn't just something that's a toy or a tool to uh, to talk about here. It's not a, gimmick to to be sensational in any way. It is, in fact, a stark reality, as Heather's circumstance reminds us. And Heather actually joined me in my Discord office hours with a specific question, asking me about my own readiness for death and how I prepare specifically with regard to the possibility of leaving my wife behind, right? And so I think Heather would appreciate the fact that signing off with the solemn or the it is both solemn and celebratory reminder that today needs to be lived in earnest, because tonight I will die in my sleep. So Heather, I hope you hear me say that with the intent that it is. It is to take death seriously and to take life as even more seriously. So I've said enough. Wish you all the best, everybody. Take care.